Hi, everybody. We continue our Bible study about Joseph's life. Um, we are going to study from Genesis 45. I entitled this Joseph Makes Himself Known. Um, a little bit recapping from the previous one when he put his silver cup in his brother Benjamin's sack, and now he's wants Benjamin to stay till they bring their father. Um, but looks like his plan will not succeed exactly the way he wanted, and probably now he goes to plan B. Let's find out. All right, so this Bible study, so we start in Genesis 45, verse 1. Then Joseph could no longer control himself before all his attendants, and he cried out, have everyone leave my presence. So there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. So he told the brothers, because the brother says like we cannot leave Benjamin. That's the our father will not leave. If he don't see Benjamin, he lost another son. He will not leave. So um, Joseph started crying out, and he called his brothers and want to make sure that the servants would not hear. And told the servants to get away, that he talked in private with his brothers. And in verse 2, he says, he wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard him, and Pharaoh's household heard about it. Because imagine when his servants heard, and it's like, wow, we never heard Joseph. He's so tough, he's so into everything. But this time we heard him weeping, but so loud, crying so loud, something had happened. Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still living? That was his concern. But his brothers were not able to answer him because they were terrified of his presence. Why? Because he's the one who talked to him from the high place harshly. And now they don't know what to say about him. He's like, is my father still living? Why? He's looked like an Egyptian, but he said that our father is his father, and in his Joseph. They can believe it because they sold him as a slave, can become from a slave, like a second in command in Egypt, a very strong and powerful country. And they were like in doubts whenever he was saying. They were terrified at his presence. Um, Now he says because he was Joseph. Imagine now he has power. He is Joseph, and payback time. It's exactly what they were like. They were terrified for the payback time. He's Joseph. He's going to put him all to prison, and they will never see their life again because what they did to him. They tried to kill him and then sold him. So that's why they're terrified. Wow. Imagine that, you know, you did something wrong and it turns around that, just say like and it comes to be your boss at work. The person that you did wrong to, the person in the past, is your boss now. Wow. Don't you feel like maybe quitting your job? Because why? Whenever you did wrong, it turns around and comes back to you. So we learn in this specific passage right here that to do good things to people, not to harm them. Do good things like you will do for you, for yourself and your family. And it says, as a proverb, what goes around comes around. So make sure whenever you do will not come to bite you. All right, let's keep going. Verse 4. Then Joseph said to his brothers, come close to me. When they had done so, he said, I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. So make sure he clarifies that very, very well. And now do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here. Joseph is not um, has wisdom. He's not just in power over there, but he has wisdom. Since he was young, his character was different than the other ones. His personality, um, God raised him to be a mighty man, a strong man in character and everything else, but he has like lots and lots of wisdom and revelation from God. Lots of revelations he has from God. In all these years, God will reveal things through his dreams. He learned to interpret the dreams, and now he's telling him, he told already him what happened, why he had to be where he was, and it's how he handled all this being in prison for so long for not doing anything wrong, because God spoke to him why, and spoke to him even when he saw first his brother. Probably he was praying for that. So, verse 5, and now do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves. Why? Because like they were, because he heard them talking, like, you see, everything comes on our heads because we sold our brother. Do not be angry with yourself for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. Verse 6, for 2 years now there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there will be no plowing and reaping. And he knows because of the dreams of the Pharaoh. Verse 7, but God sent me ahead of you. This is comes the part of the revelation and wisdom from God. But verse 7, but God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth to save your lives by a great deliverance. Wow. So now he knew his purpose on this earth. He knew his destiny, his purpose. First, he did not know. He cried, he was fasting, he was crying and trying to get off his brothers that will not sell him, and beg them not to. And but all these years he grew up to be a wise man, and God revealed to him why he had to go through that. He learned lots of management through those years, and now he knows that if he wouldn't be here in this position, all his they will die in the land, all his future generations, everybody else, all his family will be wiped off. And maybe not just his family, other ones as well with them. So he understood his purpose, and that's a good place to be when you understand that why it had to happen that way, why I had to suffer. Have you ever looked back in your life a little bit and search into your life, and some places where you have been, it brought you to tears? It was you were hurt. It was hard. You were crying. You don't know why those things happened to you. Guess what? Will be a day when God will discover to you, and will better this be soon, why this happened. And most of the time in my life, I know I grew in spiritual round. I grew a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and I trust, and I put my trust totally in God. And I know one day I'll turn around and God will reveal why it had to be that way, and not an easy, nice life, but a very stressful and harsh life. Um, yes, it will be an answer one day. Hang in there. Let's keep going with our Bible study. Verse 8. So then it was not you who sent me here, but God. That's wisdom right there. He say it wasn't because of their choice of selling him. God made it, but worked through the in their hearts through the enemy in order to get Joseph to Egypt. How are you going to get a person to Egypt? And probably it had to be in a harsh way, but in a mean way. He taught him management and all that good stuff he needed. And he had favor with everybody. He made me father to Pharaoh, lord of his entire household and ruler of all Egypt. Verse 9. Now hurry back to my father and say to him, this is what your son Joseph says. God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me, don't delay. You shall live in the region of Goshen and be near me, you, your children and grandchildren, your flocks and herds, and all you have. I will provide for you there, because 5 years of famine are still to come. Otherwise, you and your household and all who belong to you will become destitute. Wow, what a revelation from God. He knew his purpose, he learned, and then discovered to his brothers. Um, and now he knows, so about Goshen in verse 10, you shall live in the region of Goshen and be near me, you and your children and grandchildren, flocks, what you have. Why Goshen? Well, Joseph, he went, as you remember in the previous ones, he went in the lands and he gathered the crops and he make sure he had barns, but not barns like, um, made of wood or whenever he saw they were like, he built things and he built more to make sure he had enough to store for 7 years. And so he knew exactly where's the fertilized land, where it gives more, where they have water for the animals, where they give more crops, where's the best land in whole Egypt. And the name was Goshen. So that was in the region of Goshen. Now on the other side, Egyptian hated, they would not have like herds and flock there, they did not want that. They wanted the area, but they didn't like dealing with herds and flocks. So is where he wants to position his family, where is the best, the honey and the milk of whole Egypt. And I said he's very, very wise. I was saying beside intelligence and everything else what God put on him, he is very, very wise. He already has the plans for his whole family. Let's keep going. 12, verse 12. So you can see for yourself. So can my brother Benjamin, that is really, you can see for yourself. And so can my brother Benjamin, that it is really I who am I speaking to you. Tell my father about all the honor accorded me in Egypt and about everything you have seen, and bring my father down here quickly. He's missing his brother, his father. Now he saw Benjamin, but his father, he didn't see his father for so long, and want to make sure his father is good and take care of his father in his old age. He didn't want the father to suffer. And be like have in his old age. And verse 14, then he threw his arms around his brother Benjamin and wept, and Benjamin embraced him weeping. If you see like somebody like that and says I'm Joseph, and he's dressed like an Egyptian, you will have doubts. But now he say exactly who will know that he was sold and he ended up in Egypt? Who will know that his life, if told that to the brothers. Now they know for sure it was Joseph, and he's Joseph, because they sold. Nobody knew it. Only Joseph and his brothers knew he was sold. It's hard. I don't know how the brothers kept so many years hiding from the father the truth. But as it is with God is was in this for sure, and he recognized that, and he missed Benjamin so much, his brother. Then he just wept by kissing him and hugging him, and he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. Afterward, his brothers talked with him. Um, so after he kissed and hugged all of them, the brothers started talking to him. Kissing. I know, and this time in this different nation, different, people are, even like they hug themselves and kiss. We used to kiss my grandmother, even to see her on the street. That was more like a saying, to especially the family members. But not in every culture they have this, like embracing and kissing each other like that. Um, so it was of a way of accepting them, a way of loving them. Um, so each culture is a little bit different. I know we live in, I say, with different cultures here, but each culture is different. Kissing, it was like I love, is an expression of love, even though it's his brother. It's a way of saying love, and hugging them like that. It's a sign of acceptance. Is he's accepting them the way they were, um, and then in verse 16, when the news reached Pharaoh's place that Joseph's brothers had come, Pharaoh and all his officials were pleased, because they were probably thinking, what happened to Joseph? Where's his family? He's by himself. He has nobody. Brother, I mean, where's his brother? Where's his family? Probably Pharaoh already knew what was that he has family over there, and that he doesn't know how to reach them, or maybe not. But they were pleased just to hear that his brothers are back. But back to the kissing, like kissing his brothers. After all, his brothers talked to him afterwards, after he kissed them. So Joseph went, delegated himself, like he went and embraced Benjamin, kissed him, and then went to his all the brothers and kissed them. That and after they start talking to Joseph, after they were kissed. Wow. Remember, kissing in Jewish tradition and culture, it's okay. It's a sign of love. Remember that Judah kissed Jesus. It says he was selling him. He sold him with 30 silver um, coins. But it says how we know is Jesus, and it says the one who I kiss, that's the one. So that's in their culture, okay? And I say it's in my culture as well, to hug and kiss my brothers and sisters, and it's okay. All right, let's go verse 17. Pharaoh said to Joseph. So Pharaoh heard that the weeping, the crying, all the house of Pharaoh heard, even Joseph servants, everybody heard, and they knew that they were his brothers, and they were pleased with that. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Tell your brothers, do this. Load your animals and return to the land of Canaan, and bring your father and your families back to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you can enjoy the fat of the land." Pharaoh himself told to Joseph. Pharaoh said to Joseph, So, because imagine, it saves not just Egypt, he saves, Joseph saves so many other lands around, other countries around. All right. Verse 19, you are also directed to tell them, do this, take some cards from Egypt for your children and your wives, and get your father and come. Never mind about your belongings, because the best of all Egypt will be yours. Wow. Woo. Have you wake up in one day and all of a sudden, woo, the the wealth of the Egypt, well, like you be blessed over the night, just like that. You think like you're coming just for some grains, just to eat, but there will be how many trips they have to go back and forth in so many years. But in the meantime, all of a sudden, over the night, you become the favor of Pharaoh, and you get the best land in Egypt to bring your wives and your children, your families, to bring them there to have the best of the best. Wow. And no matter what you did in the past, everything is erased. It's how God is with us. He kisses you. You don't feel it, you don't know it. He kisses you and hugs you. Even though you did what you did in the past, He forgives your sins. And He gives you and takes you in that land where pours honey and milk, the best of the best. He spoils you like a father spoils their children. And wow, I'm just um, I had to pause for a minute to say this. I hope I'm talking to somebody right now. Um, verse 21. So the sons of Israel did this. The sons of Israel. It's not the country. Remember the sons of Jacob, because Jacob was had the name changed. Joseph gave them cards as Pharaoh had commanded, and he also gave them provisions for their journey. Cards, like I will say, because they came on the donkeys. How they can bring their wives and children on such a long journey on the donkeys? They wouldn't even have enough donkeys to come. In Egypt, they had camels, but carts like um, to put their belongings, to put their children and all that, to carry them back here to Egypt. So and they gave them provision that they will have till they pack and till they go and pack and all that they will have enough to eat and till they go back and come back. So Joseph gave them cards, but Pharaoh commanded that help them, give them all what they need, make sure they bring all their families back here. Verse 22. To each of them he gave new clothing to each of them. But to Benjamin he gave 300 shekels. 300? You think like 30 shekels were a lot when Judah sold Jesus, but he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 sets of clothes. So I say everything in their life turn in the miraculous way, in the wealthy way, you know. And things can happen, you know. If we all do the good things of the Lord, God will bless us, and we don't know where our blessing is. Over the night, it can turn like that. Like one day, you think like you could just go for a little food. Second day, you'll be like, "Ooh, I have the land of Goshen with everything." Of course, they had to work for it, you know. Let's keep going. As you can see, like some kind of like carts like that, um, that they could bring, you know, even their belongings, people, you name it. Verse 23, and this is what he sent to his father 10 donkeys loaded with the best things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and other provisions for his journey. Then he sent his brothers away, and as they were leaving, he said to them, don't quarrel on the way. Just don't, you know, um, stay too long, like, because they have to like stay for the night, and then it says, okay, it's so nice in here, we can stay another day, another night. We have all what we have, what we need for now. But Joseph told them, do not delay, just hurry back to Egypt. Verse 25, sorry. So they went up out of Egypt and came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. They told him, Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is the ruler of all Egypt. Jacob was stunned. He did not believe them. But then they told him everything Joseph had said to them. And when he saw the carts Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. Ooh! He wouldn't believe from the beginning. He was like, um, um, I don't think so. Because imagine, like, you know, somebody is dead, and all of a sudden um, you hear that, no, he's alive. Actually, he's a ruler in Egypt. What is he doing in Egypt? I don't think so. I don't think so. My son is dead. I mean, you people that set up with their mind in that stage, that my as like Jacob, like, my son is dead for so many years, and he had that for so many years, he would not be able to accept. Sometimes are we so I shouldn't say that, dead in the spirit, that no matter what people they do, we are still there, sinking down. But um, only when Joseph tell exactly what to tell to the father and all that, then his spirit revived. He just got like flipped from the dead stage where he was in unbelief. He flipped over. Now he is on the top. He's revived. Like, what? My son that was lost is alive? And he saw all what they carry. And this is, like, you see in the pictures, like Egyptians came with them to help them carry everything there and help them come back, because the carts were sent by Pharaoh to bring his family back to back to see, to bring the family to Egypt. So uh, we want our spirit to be revived whenever is, let's say it right now, whenever it's dead in our life right now, let it be revived, let it be reversed. We want to be revived in our spirit. Amen. And Israel said, I'm convinced my son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. So finally, when he just like he turns, his spirit revived, he said that now for sure he knows Joseph is alive and he's going to see him before he dies, because he was already old, and that because he had um, these two, Joseph and Benjamin, and the old age, much older. He has to say he had to serve to his uncle Laban for 7 years and another 7 just to get Rachel. And but in the meantime, he had the other ones. So it's in the older age, and he had these two. I saw them growing. And then when Joseph went towards Egypt when he was sold, he was about 17 years old. Wow. So 17, I'm saying it's like plus like 14 years just serving on Lebanon, and then 17 years old plus we say the pregnancy, just say another 18 years, you know. So people don't stay the same. They age. Wow. So I enjoy this, just knowing that Joseph is getting his family. Um, my thought for these lessons is that whenever we lost family, maybe it's far away, uh, whenever we came from, uh, God is going to restore all that back to us. Restore our family back to us. Um, as Joseph had, do not lose hope. Uh, you'll be restored. Definitely, you'll be restored. You will have your family. You'll be happy. You'll be joyful. Be you can give love again to your family, and you receive love. You can kiss your brother and your sisters or your parents. Do not lose hope. God is with you. And I hope you enjoyed this teaching, well, Bible study as much as I enjoy it. Till next time, I say goodbye. Goodbye now.